Hey guys, and welcome back to TheCubicle. Today I'm going to be unboxing the MoYu WeiLong WR M. So TheCubicle decided to send this package over to me. Inside should be the newest high-end 3x3 release from MoYu, the WeiLong WR. This one in particular is M, meaning that it's magnetic, so it also comes in a non-magnetic version. Also in here we have a Cubicle business card, cubicle.com, and we also have, looks like another puzzle. So it looks like this is a Yushin Little Magic Square 1, and it actually says magnetic on the side, which is pretty interesting because I've never seen a magnetic Square 1 before. I wasn't expecting to get this, but I figure we'll open it up real quick and just see how it turns. So you can definitely feel the magnets across that layer there. It's very slight, but also the turning is just super crazy effortless. The pieces are just gliding across each other. The interesting thing to check though is, does it have magnetic sides right here? Oh, it actually is. Okay, so every little turn that you do, every little like 1/12th turn across these layers is actually magnetized. I think I was the first person to do this on an X-Man Volt actually, but basically the magnets make it so that you can feel every little snap across these upper and lower layers. So it's very interesting to see that in a mass-produced puzzle. I don't think we've ever seen that before. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about the WeiLong WR M. So basically, I don't own very many MoYu cubes. The newest MoYu cube that I own is the original MoYu WeiLong, and many years after they came out with this one, they came out with the MoYu WeiLong GTS. Eventually they came out with the GTS2 and GTS3 M. And then eventually they came out with the WeiLong GTS3 and 3M, which were pretty interesting cubes. It was like a top of the line 3x3, but it had like these ridges on the pieces. And so basically on the outside of every layer, there was like a ridge that made it so it was a little bit easier to grip. And some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but it was kind of their high-end cube and there was no option other than to get the ridges. And basically what this cube is a WeiLong without ridges. That's what the WR stands for. It's also kind of implying that it's saying world record, given the 3.47 seconds right here, which is the new world record set with a GTS2 actually. So that's actually a little bit misleading. So it looks like in the box here we have the cube itself along with a whole bunch of fancy accessories. Again, I am brand new to these high-end MoYu cubes. The only MoYu cube I have ever owned is the original WeiLong from over 5 years ago. So we have a couple cards here, Livia Kleiner and some person I don't know, an instruction booklet, and the cube. We also have these accessories right here. So I believe starting with the GTS3, they came out with a whole new tensioning system that allows you not only to adjust the tensions of the screws themselves, but also to kind of change the stiffness of the springs, kind of like the GAN GES system. So it's kind of meant to compete with that, but instead of actually having to change out a whole nut every time, there's a tool. I'm not quite sure what tool it is. I think this one right here that allows you to just kind of stick it on top of where the screw is, and it allows you to change like the spring stiffness without having to go around and unscrew every single side like you'd have to do on a GAN cube. So it looks like it comes with a complete extra set of screws, springs, washers, and these little plastic pieces. I'm not sure if it's any different from the ones that are inside the cube, like if the springs are different tension or anything, but it does come with 6 extra ones as well as an extra core, so you can pretty much swap out the entire core of the cube. It also comes with some extra magnets, as well as these two things which are supposed to help you tension the cube when you have it disassembled down to the core. It kind of fits on the core like this and it helps you kind of position those centerpieces. It also comes with a very nice screwdriver and extra instruction set. Anyway, let's get on to the actual turning of the cube itself. So it comes in this nice little plastic box here. I believe this part is meant to be used as like a cube stand, so you can kind of attach these pieces together in a certain way. This on top of this and this on top of this, and then the cube will go on the top right there. That's kind of nice. Anyway, let's get on to the actual cube. Let's do some first turns on it. It comes with that nice MoYu right out of the box sandy feeling, but I'm sure that'll go away very quickly. It is very, very fast, very loose. I might even have to tighten the tensions down a little bit because I'm not sure if I can control this quite yet. I'm going to do one single flick. That went over 2 turns just from one flick. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to tighten the tensions down a little bit. So let me get back to you after I do that. Although I bet the corner cutting will be pretty good at this point with such loose tensions. Yeah, I can do a little over 45 forwards and half a cube or so reverse. Alright, so I tightened it down to what I would consider a bit more of a reasonable tension, although this cube is still very, very fast. The feeling of it is just a little bit off to me. It's almost like it's a little bit too flexible, but I think you could fix that by adding a stronger spring to the cube. So that's a very good opportunity to try out the new tensioning system inside of this cube, because you can actually adjust it to make the springs feel tighter. So I want to go ahead and try the system out for the first time together. So let's pop off a center cap here, and it looks like here is the tensioning system. It kind of looks like it's on one extreme end. I hope that's the extreme loose end so that you can tighten it. So let's use this little tool here. I think we stick it in just like this and then turn it, and it kind of snaps into place. And I think we're making the spring tighter by turning it this way. So let's turn it up like 3 clicks. So let's go around to all the other centers on the cube and adjust it in the same way and see what effect that has on the turning of the cube. And there we go. Now let's try out the turning. Ooh, that definitely seems to be a lot tighter in terms of spring tensions than it was before. It definitely is a lot more controllable for me. I like that feel a lot better. In fact, I could probably do a couple more clicks on every single side. The cube comes in at 55.5 millimeters, which is pretty typical. You can get it in stickerless, as you can see here. The shades are pretty normal, and it does come with a removable logo sticker. But you can also get it in black, which is a change from the original GTS3 with ridges that this cube was based off of. It does not appear that popping or corner twisting will ever be a problem on this puzzle with these squared off corners. And if we take a look inside the mechanism real quick, we can see that it looks rather similar to normal speedcube mechanism. It has some rather exaggerated features like the torpedo going all the way in with the kind of double layer thing, as well as this really big piece around the center. You have your typical friction ridges along here for that smooth, effortless turning, as well as on some of the other surfaces of the pieces. Typical 4-part stickerless corner design, as well as 3-part edge design. Anyway, the turning of this cube is pretty much what we've come to expect for really high-end cubes these days. It is incredibly fast to the point of being kind of uncontrollable for me. Honestly, I just cannot turn aside without it overshooting, even going double if I flick kind of hard. So I'll definitely have to put some heavier lube in this cube to slow it down for myself. The magnets in the pieces do help make it a slight bit more controllable, although they are very weak. I would personally put some stronger magnets in here, although it does add a nice little tactile bump at the end of every turn. As you may have been able to tell, this also seems like a very loud cube. Although the cube does feel sturdy, the plastic doesn't feel the most premium that I've ever felt, and it kind of creates this really clacky feeling, and it just makes it really loud as you're turning the sides like this. But on that note, let's go ahead and do a quick solve on this cube to try out the performance. Overall, this cube just feels like it has a lot of potential. It may or may not be the best speed cube in the world, that's all up to personal preference, but it definitely has a lot going for it. I really do like the customizability of the springs and the tensioning systems, although I do wish it was set up better right out of the box. With some work, it can definitely become a great cube. Even the best speed cuber in the world, I believe, could use this cube and get perfectly great times. As for me, I'm definitely going to have to play around with the tensions a little bit more, just set it up and lubricate it exactly how I like it, maybe slow it down a little bit with some heavier lube so it doesn't do this every time I turn it. But it could definitely become a new main and replace my current MF3 RS2M. Now, would I recommend that you get this cube? Well, it really just depends on the person. If you already have a 3x3 that you like and it works for you, then just go ahead and stick with that one. There's no real need to go out and buy the newest 3x3 just because it's new. But if you do like the sound of this cube and you're okay with having to do a little bit of work to set it up, then this could be a good option for you. If you're spending this much money on a high-end 3x3 though, I do trust that you can go out and do your own research, look up some other reviews of this cube, look up some reviews of other high-end cubes, and see which one you like the best. By the way, this cube is $39, the magnetic version, at TheCubicle.com. I'll put the link to that down in the description down below. But anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, learned something, or found it interesting, and I'll see you guys next time.